Welcome back with another episode of Convos with Kev. You can tell by the scenery we are in great presence. Celebrities of San Diego. The gentleman I have sitting with me today is a two-time scholar athlete, all Mountain West scholar athlete. Really helped shape the form of San Diego State's basketball team over their March Madness runs this year, last year, and was a big part of their success in the program. Without further ado, we have forward Cade Alger. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you for hopping on. We met not that long ago at a bar in a PB. For people that don't know, it's where kids hang out, and kids our age, we were just hanging out. That's what people do at PB. Yep. Simple. I said what's up to you, recognize you right away, being a rider for the team and being a huge fan first of all. And I said, bro, I'm looking for an opportunity. Would you like to? Reached out, and now you're here, brother. Appreciate it.
Here.
Thank you.
No problem.
So, my man, let's start from the beginning, brother. So, I like to talk about the journey with all the guests I have. From Oakdale, California. You grew up in Oakdale, but went to Ripon, which
Correct.
is probably, 15 minutes?
25 minutes.
Okay. Now, how's the culture out there in Central California?
Yeah, it's cool.
Sort of.
I'm from Oakdale, so I live in a country town, small town,
Right.
and so I grew up my whole life there. And I grew up going to Ripon Christian since kindergarten. So a lot of my classmates, I still know them today. Small school, small community, but it's amazing. You develop so many cool friendships and definitely like a family vibe at the school. So it was definitely a blessing.
Real 209 Troop. There's a rapper out there.
Yeah.
He has a song called 209 Troop. Pretty good song. So on this show we talk about investors. Who was that first person? Well, first of all, you play multiple sports, so I can't even say first person to put a basketball in your hand. Who was the first person that said that tall kid is gonna be athletic?
That's tough. I grew up in an athletic family.
Right.
I had three older sisters who all played sports, so I kind of just followed them around as a little kid, and I was in the gym, whether it was volleyball, basketball,
Right.
and just kind of playing around in the gym. And then as I got towards football was my favorite sport growing up. I started that in fourth grade, and so I had a lot of coaches through that. One of my favorite coaches, Randy Fasani. He went to Stanford as a quarterback. He was ESPN Player of the Year out of high school. Went to Stanford, and then he got drafted by the Panthers.
Right.
And then he hovered around there in the NFL for a while. But he was one of those coaches that always believed in me, whether it was football or basketball, because I was still playing football for him in high school at the time. And he was one of the guys that knew I had a lot of talent, and as much as he wanted me to play football at the next level, he was still always there for me for basketball too. But I just got so tall, and so I just thought basketball was probably the better option.
Right.
But yeah.
All right, y'all, we're going to take a nice little break from this interview to give a quick shout out to our sponsorship, Seek Jesus Co. That's at Seek Jesus Co. on Instagram. You can also find their website, seekjesus.co, not .com. You can leave out the M. And for all my athletes that are watching or listening, they do have great workout attire. I just got some sweats last week, so they're pretty efficient. I'm working out in them. And they are great with their fabric, their comfortability level, the flexibility of the fabric. It's amazing. So if you want to help this podcast prosper, go to their website, use the discount code Convos for 25% off your purchase. That's Convos, Convos, Convos for 25% off your purchase. Thank you, and let's continue with this. Say the whole family was the investment.
Yeah,
in yourself,
no,
right?
definitely. Family for sure was. I'm so thankful for my parents. I mean,
Right.
Them paying for my trainings for football and basketball, taking me to AAU tournaments,
Right.
just following me around. It was a blessing. So definitely my parents, and then definitely a lot of coaches on the way.
You're a big family guy. I've read a bunch of articles and your bio on the men's page. Your biggest influence, many of us say like, yeah, the Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. Yours is just strictly like my family, my parents. Like,
it's cool. I mean, like just growing up watching my sisters play. I mean, they were the ones who kind of got me into that environment, and watching their friends play. them bringing friends around the house and then watching them play in high school, and then friends watching the high school basketball games as a kid. Just I don't know, just that whole aspect just kind of got me involved. So I'd say they were my biggest influence.
How was the is there AAU? Because there's AAU circuits everywhere. In Central California, not many people are familiar with it. They call it like basically like the armpit. Not too far from Fresno, obviously. No disrespect to Oakdale and Ripon, but yeah, Central California doesn't get too much shine.
Yeah.
So how's the culture? How's like the sports culture out there?
I think the culture is actually really good. I mean, you got a lot of schools. I mean, my school, and then Modesto Christian. You got Lincoln, where Miles Bird's from.
Right.
You got a lot of schools around the area. Salesian, I mean, it's pretty close. Then you got the Bay Area, all that.
Yeah.
But Central Valley, I mean, there's a lot of good athletes that come around there. Chuck Hayes was one of the big AAU tournaments that came up when I was going through that whole process. And then West Coast Elite, they have a NorCal West Coast Elite, so you get a lot of SAC kids, a lot of Bay Area kids, a lot of Central Valley kids. So, I think the culture's there. Obviously, it's a smaller area than, the Bay or SAC, but, you get a lot of good athletes that come out of Central Valley still.
You also got Kaepernick coming out of Turlock.
Yeah, Kaepernick out of Turlock.
Did you ever join any club teams? Was there opportunities for you?
Yeah, so I joined Chuck Hayes. So I played for Chuck Hayes for, I don't know, 2-3 years. And then freshman and sophomore year, I kind of just played with the school. And then I tore my ACL sophomore year, so I didn't play my junior year, really travel, because I was still getting into everything.
Right.
And then senior year, I still didn't know what I was doing yet, so I went on an unsigned senior team for West Coast Elite. But then I also did all those like West Coast Elite camps and stuff, Top 100, all that stuff. So
they give you like the gray jersey, black jersey, some blue jerseys. I already know. Yeah, you had a bunch of those out in Cerritos and El Camino.
Those camps were fun.
Dude, they travel a lot.
Yeah.
Shout out Ryan Silver.
Yeah.
So we hit to high school. And you start out playing only one sport. You started just playing basketball?
No. So, I mean, football was from 4th grade all the way through my senior year.
All the way to senior year, right.
And then basketball, I mean, I started City League, I don't know, it's probably around the same time, 4th grade, 4th grade. And so when I started high school, it was basketball and football.
Right.
So those are my two sports. And then freshman year, I was actually gonna play tennis, because my dad played tennis, my sisters played tennis. Wow. So I was going to actually play tennis my freshman year, but I broke my foot like one of the last games of freshman year. So and tennis was in the spring, so I didn't end up playing. But then volleyball came around my sophomore year. So
right. Speaking of volleyball, your sisters played volleyball. They influenced you to play volleyball. 2-time MVP in your league and all-state. Very athletic man. So Matt Bradley reached out. I told him I was interviewing you. And funny story. It's like, yeah, bro, we thought Cade was black. He had a perm and he was bouncy. I was like, okay, I see that. He's like, yeah, curls and bounce. You put 2 and 2 together, I guess.
Yep. I do remember him telling me that. It was funny. He didn't know for like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks. It was pretty funny. And then finally one day he just asked me. Like, no, I'm white.
It went on for a while?
Yeah, no, it did. Because I don't know, like, I will say, like, when I go home for summer, like, I don't know, I get super tan. Yeah. And like, I came back with the curly hair and like, I don't know, it was funny, but he ended up figuring it out.
That's funny, man. You're off the court activities. He told me you're a professional cornhole player. We can test that out during the summer.
Anytime.
Man, would you say you're undefeated? Honest truth? Because I already know the truth. Are you undefeated in cornhole?
Just like tournaments and stuff? Absolutely not. I mean, I've definitely lost a lot of cornhole games.
With teammates?
No, I haven't lost. They can say that I lost, but I did not lose.
Really? Okay.
I gave one of my teammates, we played doubles. I think it was Jared.
Yeah, I think it was Jared.
Jared and someone else. I don't know. And me and Miles. And I gave him a 15-0 lead.
Okay.
And I didn't lose the game. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
But
you're on the team that lost?
Correct.
Okay.
So, yeah. But they had a 15-0 lead, and it was
Yeah, I heard you were sick after that loss. You were sick like the whole
day. But then I said, you know what I did after?
What was it?
I said, all right, me and you singles, you get a 15-0 start.
That's it?
And no, he played me.
Oh, he played you? Okay.
Yeah, and I won.
Okay.
21-15.
Yeah, he said, Cade played Jared, and Jared won. Cade was sick the whole day. We were at the football game. He was sick.
Yeah, well, that was a football game. It was a doubles game, though. So.
That's cool, man. How'd you get into cornhole?
It's actually kind of funny because my first year at Seattle, COVID hit.
Right.
So got sent home in March. And my dad was in the shop one day, and I went out to go hang out with him, and he was playing cornhole.
Oh, this is very, I would say, semi-recent.
Yeah, so,
okay.
Yeah, like 4 years ago. And, yeah, he was playing in the shop, and he had boards set up, and he was, like, spinning the bag and stuff, and I was like, I didn't know how to play, really. Right. And I was like, when did you get into this? And he's like, well, COVID hit, I got nothing else to do, so. And he's like, a bunch of people are getting into it, and I was like, all right, cool. And I was like, I'm super competitive, so I was like, all right, I gotta learn how to play. So yeah, that like whole spring, I mean, I was playing, and then finally got good, and then I came to San Diego, and it was still COVID, and we weren't like allowed. There wasn't anything going on campus. Nobody was here. The ghost town.
I started the same year you did.
Like I didn't know if I could like really hang out with my teammates as a freshman because like this whole COVID thing, like, and I called my dad one night, and he was like, dude, like, go to a cornhole tournament. He's like, it's so big in San Diego. And I was like, all right. So I went on an app. They have an app, and I went on it. And sure enough, there was a tournament that night, and I started playing like 5 days a week because it was COVID. I had nothing else to do.
Where was the tournament located?
They're all within like 15, 20 minutes of each other, all around San Diego.
It's always like a freeway.
Yeah, exactly. Not a long drive. And yeah, so I started playing like 4 or 5 days a week, and then so that started getting really good. Yeah. But no, fun times.
Man, did you, when you first, because we showed up at the same time, I hated it out here. Yeah. Coming from LA, I'm like, dude, there's nothing to do here.
Yeah.
And like lifted restrictions, and I started loving it. So what was your first impression of San Diego when you first got here?
Well, I went to Seattle, and the scene wasn't for me there. That's all I can say. Basketball's great, but the scene just wasn't for me. I'm a California kid. I love the sun. I love all that. I love the weather. And so when I got called to San Diego, I was obviously super excited. But then I kind of came during COVID, so it was kind of a weird time. It was like, well, I really loved like the look of the city, like California, but I was like, man, it's so dead. So I didn't like, really know what to think. But as I started, going through the year, and, like doing stuff on my own, like going to the beach, going to these cornhole tournaments, just like meeting all the people around San Diego, I was like, I really like it. Yeah, I was like, the people here are all cool, no matter what age group. Everybody's really cool, and just the lifestyle, it's so relaxed and laid back. I like that.
San Diego.
Yeah.
So really lax city, not too much going on, but a lot going on at the same time.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. Yeah. So going back to Seattle, your first year of college. First of all, you average a double-double your whole senior year. You go to all these camps. You go to an unsigned senior team, just hoping for a look at one college. And I'm assuming JUCOs wanted you.
Yeah.
Lower levels, D2,
yeah,
D3.
D3s, yep.
Any other looks besides Seattle? Because I only know about Seattle.
Yeah, so it was kind of funny because I mentioned earlier I went on that West Coast unsigned senior team. And, I kind of knew, like, after I rehabbed my ACL and everything, I was like, I really want to get basketball shot. I really want to see if I can go D1. And, I played at a tournament one weekend, and I did really well. And I started getting in touch with the Seattle coach. And they're the only ones that really, like, reached out to me.
Right.
So that's kind of – and it was already late in the year. I mean, it was already April at that time. So, I mean, it was kind of like decision time already. Right. So I was like, I was like, let's go. So then, up there, and that's kind of how that all
happened. Like their 6'8" guards, man. Rip a buddy of mine, dude. Yep. From Santa Monica. We played in like the same All-Star game at St. John Bosco. Connected through him with my past guest, Malcolm Bray. Dude's funny, a character, really athletic. So I mean, did you guys ever like bond
we
there?
had a really good relationship. I mean, I came in as a freshman. I think he was a sophomore at that point. And yeah, I mean, he was kind of one of those guys. His two roommates too, Matt Vale and Joe Wall. They had an apartment, and so I'd be over there all the time, kicking it with them. And he was kind of one of the guys that just kind of took me in. We would go and shoot together a lot, and yeah, Rip's a great guy. I mean, he had his own clothing business going on in his room.
I think it's still going on, right?
Yeah, it's still going on. But he had his shelves built in his room. I mean, he was grinding, and
he took notes from his freshman year for sure.
Yep, and he's a really good basketball player too. Could shoot it and really athletic. Yeah. So he was a good guy for sure.
How was, getting told? I'm not sure how it was told, but you take a redshirt year. For up and coming basketball players that are going into their college level life, getting told, hey, you might want to sit out this year, or hey, this might not be a year. Take this year off, develop more, learn, be a sponge in the locker room. How was that year for you at Seattle?
I mean, I honestly went into the year and I told myself I was in a red shirt.
Oh, really?
Because in the back of my head, I was like, I think I do need a year to just learn this game, learn at this level, and just see kind of. I wasn't in any rush. I mean, I told myself out of high school, I was like, I wouldn't mind going to college for 5 years. So,
because who goes for 4 years nowadays?
Yeah, I know. And now with everything else, too, transfer portal and everything, I'm glad I took a redshirt year too. Otherwise, I'd be done. But it's just I don't know. I went in. I was like, I think it was a really smart move by me. I just wanted to learn and wanted to kind of see what it was like, and it was really beneficial for me. Just being able to practice every day still, but also not lose a year of eligibility.
Right.
So it was cool.
What was a big lesson you took from that year?
I think a big lesson was just a jump it was. I mean, and I think another lesson I learned was just like college basketball is a profession. It's not like a club. It's not like
full-time job.
Yeah, it's a full-time job, and that was the biggest jump for me because I mean, when I was in high school, I trained, but I didn't take it that seriously in high school. I would just I would do my thing in practice, and I would play in games. That's all I did. And because then I had volleyball around the corner, I had football right before, so I was I never worked on basketball. So then when I got to college and that's all I had, that was a big adjustment because it was we had to text our coach every day.
Yeah.
We had to make 100 threes a day, and we had to text him every day.
Yeah. Send the receipts.
Yep. Send the receipts. Yep. And so it was a big jump, but mentally it was really good for me. It made me up my work ethic, and that was really good. So
I think the mental part's the biggest aspect in today's game.
Yeah.
Last year on that couch, Matt took a huge take on mental health. We had a conversation on how he brought a spotlight to it in his press conference after his last game in Houston last year. That. So that's pretty smart. Moving on from Seattle, you entered the portal to come over here. But did any other schools reach out besides?
It was actually crazy because obviously I didn't play at Seattle, so I the whole portal thing was new to me.
So you took a chance for yourself.
Yeah, and I sat down with my parents and I was like, I just don't think Seattle's the place for me. And they were telling me, no,
wait it out.
Yeah, do your 4 years, you got it. I was like, no, I'm sorry, and it was COVID too, so it was just a weird time. So I put my name in and I didn't know what to expect. And I mean, I had pretty much all the California D2s call me, and then it was crazy because I was from 8 a.m. to 12. My phone was blowing up between D2s, D3s, and JUCOs.
Right.
And then at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I get a call and it was, hey, it's Jay Morris from San Diego State. And I was like, what? And
one more time.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, we went 30-2 last year, and I was like, yeah, I know. But that day was a blur. And I remember I was sitting in the office with my mom, and I said San Diego State, and my mom just looked at me and she was like, what? And it was a pretty fast process of committing here, and San Diego sounded great to me. Just elite program.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of elite guys have came through this program, and honestly, just a place that I could see myself living at too, like more than basketball. So,
right.
And that's what I figured out in Seattle too. Like, as much as it is about basketball at the end of the day, there's still so much more in life besides basketball, and at some point, you're gonna have to get into other things in life, and no matter when that is, 20 years from now, a year from now, like it doesn't matter.
Right.
But and that was the one thing that San Diego did give me. Like outside of basketball, I felt like this was home. So it was really cool.
Man. Going into San Diego State, you get put on scout team. You're a walk on, right?
Yep.
Walk on. Not a scholarship player. How does that situation play out? Because at a school I went to, we went to NAIA schools. Everybody's on a scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
You're not at that school if you're not on a scholarship.
Yep.
Obviously, there's levels to this. D1s are a lot different. They're only limited, I think, 8 or 9, maybe?
13.
13 scholarship
13
players?
fulls, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're not one of those. Still taking the chance on yourself. Still have the ultimate confidence. How's that, situation play out for you right over here in San Diego State?
Yeah, so I mean, going back to just my freshman year, it was kind of just like back in the same situation I was at Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know what to expect. I knew when I committed here, I was kind of scared because I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I thought Seattle was hard. I thought, the coaches were hard there, and I was like, I was a little scared coming here. I didn't know how it was going to be. But, and then, yeah, just like going through scout team, I mean, I ended up developing a really good relationship with my coaches, and, they were telling me all these good things I was doing on scout team and just giving, the team a really good look and, just the feedback from my teammates every once in a while. Like, I felt like I was doing my job really well.
Right.
And, yeah, so that year went by. That was COVID year too. So, and that transitioned to the next year and the next year. And then now this year I got put on scholarships. So that was really cool.
That's it. Hey, kill the momentum. I was building that up. No, because I was on scout team 1 year at San Diego Christian, and it was fun. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed it. You miss a shot and you'll get yelled at, but that's like a dream come true for a player.
Yeah.
Who's a player that you enjoyed mimicking to prepare the starting five?
Yeah, there was definitely a couple. Tyson Degenhart from Boise was probably one of my favorites because I don't know, we played similar in a way. So he was their guy on the team, like when we would scout. Yeah. So it was like whenever the ball was in my hands, like I was either playmaking, driving the ball, shooting the ball, or
ball was always in your hands.
Yeah, exactly. And he had a post game. He could shoot it. Yeah. He could kind of do a little of everything. So that was really fun. He was probably my favorite, but definitely like some of my other fun scouts were when I was a shooter. This year was a little different because I was one of the taller guys again, so I was kind of usually always playing big. But I remember last year we had a deep scout team, and I got to play shooter a lot. There was Taylor Funk on Utah State. That was a fun scout. Just I don't know, if you're open, shoot it, and if you don't shoot it, your coaches are gonna yell at you. So that was always fun.
Were you ever Jared?
Huh?
Were you ever Jared from Nevada?
Oh no. He's short, but not in a bad way. But I'm 6'10", so I wouldn't be a great.
I'm like 6'3".
But
no, very complimenting, dude. Degenhart's a real deal.
Yeah.
Very triple green light, number one option for besides Rice's son on the team, Max.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. So, you gave the heads up. You got put on scholarship this year.
Yeah.
Man, that video we seen on Instagram, take us through that. All the hard work, all the betting on yourself. I'm in the portal. I'm gonna sit this one out in Seattle. There's, everything happens for a reason. Potentially, it's your second to last year. You still have 1 more year left. You get a scholarship at a prestigious program. Walk us through your emotions in that film room.
Yeah, that day was really special. Obviously,
did you see it coming? It was hinted.
No, so after we went to the Final Four last year, everybody has their meeting with Dutcher at the end of the year.
Right.
No matter we walk on,
The
scholarship, whatever. Yeah,
like
exit interviews. And that always happens within the first 2 weeks after season. And went to Dutcher's office, had a talk, and from my standpoint, I kind of wanted to go in the portal and kind of see what looks I could get. And he told me, he said, depending on what happens in the portal, we might have a scholarship for you. So that was kind of the only thing that was hinted. And so it was kind of a risk reward thing. I was like, but when I told him I wanted to enter the portal, he granted me the opportunity to come back.
Right.
If I went in the portal and nothing happened. And so I went in the portal, and I got close to going to a couple schools, but I was kind of in an awkward spot because it was my junior year. I had one more year of classes before I graduated, and transferring from San Diego State to another school, most likely a lot of my credits weren't going to transfer, so then I would have for sure had to do 2 more years of school somewhere. So I was like, I should probably come back, finish up school, graduate in May, and hopefully we can earn the scholarship this summer. So I was here all summer, just doing all the team workouts.
Getting in with March, new strength and conditioning coach.
Yep, doing all that. And then, and at that point, like, I was still thinking about the scholarship in the back of my head, but it started to get closer and closer to school. So I was like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it was funny because that day I had missed some compliance meeting. I had something one day and I couldn't make it, and the rest of the guys went. And so I went to it by myself on the way before practice, and all the other guys were in the film room meeting together while I was in that meeting room, in that compliance meeting. And so I went to the meeting, and then I get a text from, I forget who it was, like, hurry up to the film room. And I was like, okay, like, I'll hurry up, come down, not in my practice clothes, everybody else in their practice clothes, and sit down. And Dutch starts introducing the new walk-ons and new members on the team, and then it happened. And I was really shocked, honestly. And just to see the support from my teammates and everything, it was a dream come true. I mean, that's just something you want as a walk-on and pray for. As a walk-on, your biggest goal is to earn scholarship, an athletic scholarship. And, so it was just a dream come true, and I'm so thankful. So
shout out Dutch and all the coaches.
Yep.
Shout out your teammates. Shout out you, really, for being a big part of the success here. You want to talk about the March Madness run this year that ended in Boston. From a player's point of view, because we all watched it, all of San Diego's tuned in to you guys now. What was the biggest difference between the two UConn teams you guys played?
Personally, I think they were twice as good this year as they were last year.
A lot of people were saying that.
I think just the pieces that they had and the offense that they ran, it was just so effective. I mean, and we preach, our big defensive thing is, play gap defense, make it a 1-on-5 instead of a 1-on-1. And UConn pulls you out of all that because they'll have something going on one end of the floor, and then they got pin downs for shooters and a bunch of other things going on the other side. So you have to stay attached, and they play like an NBA team.
I was just about to say, it's a real league offense.
Yes, very league offense. And just credit to them for, it's hard to run a league offense in college, and you have to have the right pieces to do it. And they had the pieces all around to do it, and the way they ran it, it was crisp and it was smooth. Credit to them. They're really good.
So you got difference in leaders. Obviously, your roommate is one of the probably an all-time Aztec at this point. All-American, Jaden Ledee. Took a leadership role. He's real nonchalant, a lot of people, from the outside perspective. But how is he when the doors are closed in Viejas in the Jam Center? Like, is he a vocal leader? Does he lead by example?
Jaden leads with his work ethic.
Okay.
I mean, he's in the gym at 5 a.m. every day. Like, when I tell you he really works out. Like, he works out. Like, we'll be in March Madness, and like we'll have a game the next day, and he'll go get a lift at 7 p.m. And I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, save your body. He's like that was just him though. Like right. he needed that workout. I don't know, but yeah, no, definitely a leader by his work. Comes into practice every day, and by the time practice starts, it's probably his second or third workout already. So and he's still, I mean, he's killing everybody in practice, and it shows. And when you're guarding Jaden, and you got a lot of work in front of you. So
Lamont call him Megatron. That's your nickname from.
Yeah,
it shows. I mean, great players get that way through their work ethic, and you basically listed everything a great player should do.
Mm-hmm.
Was Matt the same way?
Yeah, Matt. Matt.
All right, Matt.
No, I love that. Matt came in. I mean, he came in from Cal,
right?
And he was so successful at Cal, obviously. So the coaches expected a lot from him.
Yeah, coming from a Power 5.
And I mean, you come in, and it's hard to come into a new program, and still be that guy. And he came in, and he went through his ups and downs in practice before season started, and just trying to find his way. And I mean, he was just a killer once game time came. Like when you think of like a true gamer, like that was him. Like
Matt Bradley.
You can go to any park, we'll give you 30. Like he's just a bucket, and a competitor. Like in practice, like whole talk is all right, but like
we'll bleep it out. As long as I'm not judging, I'm good.
He'll talk crazy in practice, and he'll let you know about it. But just a competitor, and that was his way of leading, in my opinion. But off the court, I mean, he was always there for you. No matter what happened in practice that day,
right?
The relationship between you and him after practice was going to be good.
True brother, keep it on the court.
Exactly, and there's a lot of guys like that. But that was what was really cool about Matt, because in practice, he was one of those guys you probably weren't friends with,
right?
But off the court, we're all
my boy.
My boy, yeah, exactly. So it's
But. Any trash talking that kind of escalated? Obviously not escalated, but you were like, oh, okay, yeah, it's gonna be a good practice. Yeah, yeah.
There's been a lot of it. Shout out Micah. He likes to talk a lot.
Yeah, that's that Detroit. That's that Michigan.
Yeah. But there's actually a funny story with Matt. Really funny. This was that first year he came.
Okay.
And so we were in all of our summer workouts and stuff. And then it was team practice. And I don't remember what was said, but practice was going. And all of a sudden one of our coaches, I'm not going to say who, but one of our coaches said something to Matt. And it took Matt the wrong way.
Okay.
And the coach was on the other end of the court.
All right.
And Matt was on the other end.
Okay.
And all of a sudden they started like yelling back and forth at each other.
So the whole gym heard.
And next thing you know, they start walking up towards each other. We were like, all of us guys were like, oh no, like this can't happen.
Yeah.
So like, we got in the middle, whatever. But that was one of those memories. It was pretty funny. But
hopefully that was before a big game to like the match.
Yeah, well, no, it was in the off season. So it was like summer, like maybe like September, somewhere around there. So season hadn't even started.
Season,
but I mean, that just shows how far Matt's come too. I mean, he was frustrated when he got here that first year, because he felt like he had a lot to take in, and he felt like he needed to be that guy for us. So there was a lot on his plate, and man, he killed that year.
Yeah, I think he overexceeded, really.
Yeah,
he met expectations for sure.
Averaged 18, 20 a game. I mean, he was killing.
I think, he got newcomer that year?
Yeah, he got newcomer of the year that year.
Well deserved that.
Yeah, just a bucket.
Dino's finest.
Yeah.
Dino's finest.
Yeah, shout out Matt. Love you.
So, man, as we get to the end of things, it's not a secret. I mean, you made a big announcement on Twitter that you're entering the portal this year.
Yeah.
A couple of your teammates entered them. Micah's headed to Ohio State. So shout out to Micah. 2 years here, a really great season, and a shock to the city last night. Lamont posted on Instagram that he's entering the portal. you guys feel like you did all you could? And I'm not saying this, but you're obviously going to hear negative comments like this guy just got a scholarship and he wants to just leave us, or Lamont gave us all he could, or Micah had like an on and off year, he's going to leave us. You guys don't really pay attention to those, but you take that in hand to elevate your game first and to work on it. What is going through your mind as you entered the portal, leaving San Diego State personally?
I think the biggest thing for me was just, I'm graduating this year and I have 1 year left to really, I guess, just play somewhere where I can, like show my skills.
Right.
And that's nothing against San Diego State. I mean, I love this school to death. I mean, this is a second home to me. I love my coaches. I love my teammates.
Forever an Aztec, bro.
Exactly. And sorry, losing track here.
Okay.
But yeah, so I just kind of looked at this year as an opportunity. Well, I have 1 year left, and obviously, after my 4 years here, I know how hard it is to play here. And not saying that I don't think I could do it, but I just think there could be opportunities somewhere else to where I can still compete at a high level and I can still play. And so that's kind of where my head was at. And I'm also looking at the business world too.
Right.
I mean, I'm 23 now and going to have a degree under my belt here in a couple weeks, and so kind of just taking everything into consideration. And I sent that message on Twitter because the people deserve to hear that and hear how much I appreciate them and how much I appreciate my coaches and my teammates. And it's not easy. It's not going to be easy to leave this place.
Sure not.
I tell my parents, I tell my family that I never really want to leave here, but it's just that next chapter in life, and sometimes that next chapter might mean going somewhere else. Right. Doesn't mean I couldn't come back here and live here someday, or come meet up with everybody again. And that's the cool thing about this school. It's all love here, and I know that whenever I do come back, whenever that may be, I know I'm gonna feel the love again, and there's gonna be no hate. There's gonna be still gonna see all my coaches and tell them how much I love them, and they're gonna be happy to see me. So I'm going into it with a good mindset, positive mindset, and I hope everybody else is rooting for me too.
Right.
And I think they all are, which is really cool. So that's kind of where my head's at.
This is it's grown man decisions.
Exactly.
That's that.
Exactly.
Plain and simple, you just gotta make those decisions for yourself. Yeah. Everybody's walking their own path. And you're walking yours.
Lamont, Micah.
Yeah.
Jaden now going to the pro. Keishad made a decision last year.
Yeah.
And it's
and
just
the city still loves them.
Yeah, so. Exactly. He gave everything he had to this program, and everybody felt that. And it was just a grown man decision. He had
any
to make
intel? Who are you hearing from right now? Waiting for that phone call still?
I'm still lingering around.
Right.
I've heard from a lot of schools. So in that process of talking with all of them, and I've kind of been telling them right now too that I'm really focused on getting this degree right now. Allow me some time to kind of think about everything, and they've all been good with that. So so that's kind of where I've been at.
Oh, smooth, man. So as we end that, and I'll pray that you go into your next chapter wherever you are, you'll succeed, brother. Got the appreciation from me, and I speak for most Aztec fans as you head into your next chapter in life. But as you get this degree in business, you did an internship. I saw the video on Instagram.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, this did. San Diego State, March Madness. This guy.
Yeah, a real estate internship.
Yeah, man. What influenced that decision, and what got you into that?
So I have a class that I'm taking. It's an internship class, and it requires us to get an internship, obviously.
Right.
And real estate has kind of been one of the things that I've been interested in down here. I mean, there's so many nice places to live and so many cool areas to be at, and that was just kind of one of the interests I had. And whether I get into real estate after college or later down the road, that's something that I want to do. And I happen to know somebody that comes to a lot of the basketball games. His name's Adam Lowe, and so we got in touch, and I asked him if I could get an internship, and he was more than willing to help out, and it's been fun. I've been getting to see a lot of cool houses and meet a lot of cool people too. So that's been really fun.
Picking up on pitches.
Yeah.
Different ways to sell.
Yep. Just seeing what the market's like. You know, how you can spend.
I mean, what's a better city to learn
exactly
in, right?
Exactly. It's fun because you get to see how much you got to spend to live in this area versus how much you got to live into a different area.
Got to look into incomes in areas and what certain areas in San Diego make.
No, that's cool.
That's cool, bro. That's a good route. But before we head out, man, I just want to say a little prayer for you. And I know this is what I do for all my guests, just to close out and to wish you the best of luck, man. Because it's not only just we're not fighting the battle ourselves, bro. You know, you're not going to your next chapter alone, bro. You know, God's got your back. You know, I try to use my platform to build a bridge between the people and Jesus, right? So, just want to hey man, dear Lord, just want to thank you for Cade coming on this podcast, Lord, and just giving me the opportunity to Jesus. You want to thank him for all his time he spent here in San Diego and all the hard work he's put into this city and this program. And due to some technical difficulties, the video did cut off mid-prayer with Cade. I do want to apologize to anyone that's listening right now. And I also want to thank Cade for hopping on the pod, sharing his experience here in San Diego over the last 4 or 5 years. All the memories he shared at VA House Arena with all you fans. Do want to pray for him and his next chapter in his journey. Thank the good Lord for watching over him and his family. Well, that's it for Convos with Kev, man, and I'll catch y'all in the next episode. Appreciate y'all for listening. Thank you.